Very good morning to all of you. Leadership Summit for Archie's, any concept. But after listening to our chief guest, I'm wondering why should there be a leadership summit for leaders? Because you've already proved yourselves. Irundalum, Miyamai was saying, ஆட்சிங்களுக்கு வந்து ரொம்ப திறமை நிறையா இருக்குது, ஆனால் சந்தர்ப்பங்கள் அவ்வளோதுக்கு நம்ம கொடுக்கல. ஸோ ப்ராபப்ளி lack of opportunities has been the main problem. So let's focus on a discussion. The topic given to us is Happy Family, Fascinating Careers. எனக்கு தெரிஞ்ச வரைக்கும் the biggest challenge that career women face is how to balance between the family and your career. ஃபேமிலிக்கு ரொம்ப இம்பார்ட்டன்ஸ் கொடுத்தா கேரியர் ஃபோக்கஸ் இல்லாமல் போயிடுது, இல்லை கேரியருக்கு ரொம்ப இம்பார்ட்டன்ஸ் கொடுத்தா ஃபேமிலியில் நீ எப்போ பார்த்தாலும் வேலைன்னு போயிட்டே இருக்க, குடும்பத்தை கவனிக்கிறதே இல்லை அப்படின்னு ஒரு பழி சுமத்துறாங்க. ஸோ இட்ஸ் ஆல்வேஸ் பீன் அ பிட் ஆஃப் அ ப்ராப்ளம் ஃபார் விமன் டு டிசைட் ஆன் வாட் இஸ் தேர் ப்ரையாரிட்டி. எனக்கு தெரிஞ்ச வரைக்கும் the meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. So first thing, you must find what is your gift. What has God gifted you with? Each one of us is gifted with some talent or the other. There is not anyone in this room who can say that I have no talent. Everyone is talented in some way or the other. And the talent நம்ம எப்படி மற்றவங்களுக்கு பயன்படக்கூடிய ஒரு இதாக நம்ம செய்ய முடியும். That is what a career is. In fact, making your passion your profession. I think there is a discussion later on. You have to make your passion your profession. Or if you take to a profession, become passionate about it. Either way, you will succeed. முதல்ல வந்து வாழ்க்கையின் அர்த்தம் என்னன்னு தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும், அதுக்கப்புறம் வாழ்க்கையின் நோக்கம் என்ன அப்படின்னு தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும். The first most difficult thing in life is to understand the meaning of life. That's the most difficult thing. Even after having lived 62 years, I'm still not able to understand what is life. The second most difficult thing is to understand the purpose of life. Why are we in this world? The third most difficult thing in life is to talk about life in public. இன்னைக்கு வந்து உண்மையை பேசுறது ரொம்ப 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 கஷ்டமான ஒரு விஷயம். இன்ஃபேக்ட் NUலேருந்து எனக்கு ஒரு மெயில் அனுப்பிச்சிருந்தாங்க, இந்த டிஸ்கஷனை வந்து முடிஞ்ச வரைக்கும் தமிழில் வச்சுக்கோங்க, ஆங்கிலம் தமிழ் கலந்தாலும் முடிஞ்ச வரைக்கும் தமிழில் பேசுங்க அப்படின்னா. நான் கூட சொன்னேன், இந்த மாதிரி ஆங்கிலம் தமிழ்லாம் கூட பேசிடலாம், பேச முடியாத ஒரு மொழி ஒன்று இருக்குன்னா அது உண்மை தான் இன்னைக்கு அப்படின்னு. The most difficult language to speak in the world is truth. I just told all our panelists on the conference call, I just spoke to all of them, I told them, please speak the truth. So let's be honest in expressing our opinions. The success of this conference is simply because of the fact that you can have 400 women sitting in a hall and there is silence. So that speaks for the success of this summit. அந்த காலத்தில் வந்து நகரத்தார் கம்யூனிட்டியில் வந்து பொதுவாக வேலைக்கு போகிறதே தவறு, மற்றவங்களுக்கு நம்ம வேலை கொடுக்கணும், நம்ம ஏன் வேலைக்கு போகணும் அப்படின்னு பேசினாங்க. அதுக்கப்புறம் ஆண்கள்லாம் வேலைக்கு போக ஆரம்பித்தாங்க, பெண்கள்லாம் வேலைக்கே போகக்கூடாது, வீட்டில் தான் இருக்கணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தாங்க. இப்போ பெண்கள்லாம் வேலைக்கு போக ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டாங்க. Now they have become leaders in their own right. And of course, the main reason for this is the empowerment through education. Today we have Nagarattar girls, highly qualified, very intelligent. But what is important, as the guest of honor said, is intelligence is not everything in life. Integrity is even more important. Character. There is a lot of knowledge available, no doubt about it. But what is not available is character. Today, I will tell you, illiteracy is a problem in India, but there is a bigger problem. Intelligence without integrity is even a bigger problem than illiteracy. படித்தவங்கள்லாம் ரொம்ப தப்பு பண்ணுறாங்க, படித்தவங்கள்லாம் நேர்மையாக இல்லை, Honesty is not practiced anywhere. So this is the biggest problem that we are facing. So I want all of you to understand that women in general, I believe, are more sincere, more hardworking, and more straightforward. This is my personal conception about women. I therefore would like the women to play a major role in making sure that you get rid of corruption in this country. And I think the responsibility lies with each and every one of us. Now, before I introduce the panelists, let me tell you one thing. Career, family, Abdin Pagrapal, I'm very, very clear about it. Your first preference in life has to be your family, nothing else. So please remember that your roots are in your families, and therefore the first preference in life for everyone in this room is your family. The second preference has to be your health. Please take care of your health. Without a supportive family and without good health, you can't deliver. You can't take to a successful or a fascinating career in life. Therefore, please pay attention to your family, please pay attention to your health, and then think of making a fascinating career. Now, when I say family, there is a lot of selfishness that has come into the women folk today. My husband, my children, that's my family. No. Your family includes your parents, your grandparents, your in-laws, everyone, your children, all of them. So don't become too selfish. Today I find women are too selfish. They want to take care of their husband and their children, that's all. Please think of your parents. They are responsible for your existence. Please take care of your in-laws. Please make sure that you make good daughters-in-law before you become career woman. I remember in one of the wedding meetings, in a wedding function, they asked me to speak suddenly, and I said, if all the mothers-in-law in the world can consider their daughters-in-law like their daughters, and if all the daughters in the world could consider their mothers-in-law like their mothers, there will be total peace on earth. So that is what we are trying to establish, peace on earth. So I want all of you to remember that your family is your first preference. Now, a peaceful and supportive family, a sound physical and mental health will enable you to take up to fascinating careers, and that's why we have chosen this topic. And before we go on, there are many reasons why women take to work. Let's be very frank and practical. Economic reasons could be one, because today there is a general feeling that the husband alone earning does not make enough, you can't make enough money to make a living. So you have to really make sure that both the members, the husband and the wife, go to work. The second most important reason is you want to engage yourself. You don't want to be idle. Idle mind is the devil's workshop. So you want to work because you don't want to be idle. That's a good thing. The third most important thing is to make your passion your profession. That's what we were talking about a little earlier. So you have to ensure that you bring out your talents, potential, and ensure that you make a career out of it. Now, I would like to introduce to you the panelists. We have three of them, very distinguished panelists. Because when I looked at them, I could see one of them on the different age groups. But let me first call upon Mrs. Alagammai Palniappan, also known as Alagu. Now, I will give them each 5 minutes to speak. Omayal Achi asked me, நான் என்ன பேசணும் அப்படின்னு எது வேணாலும் பேசுங்க இந்த 5 நிமிஷம் உங்களுக்காக it's entirely yours. You can express your views openly. Then I will question each one of you. And each question will be very delicate for you to answer, and that too in public. But let's go with it, because the whole purpose is to thrash out and bring the best out of this panel. Alagammai Palniappan hails from Karaikudi. She has been in the information technology field for the last 21 years. She has worked for Temenos, a banking software company, for the last 19 years, and is presently the Vice President of the Product Development of Temenos at Chennai. She's very dependable, that's what people say, and very hard-working. Besides being employed, she also runs a designer boutique called Purple during the weekends. So she's loading herself with a little more work. She's also a good homemaker, and her career exposes her to extensive travels abroad. She loves reading. She takes pride in saying that her husband Palniyappan is her pillar of support, and that she considers as the biggest strength in having a successful career. Please welcome Alagamai Palniyappan.
Thank you for those kind words, and thank you to the entire Archie Mantras team for giving me this opportunity. When we were preparing for this event, Alagappan told me, Alagu, I'll give you 5 minutes. Can you tell the story of your life? So here I am to tell you the story of my life in 5 minutes. So if you look at this, can you change? I'm sure இது எல்லாருக்கும் ஃபெமிலியராக இருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். வாரத்துக்கு ஒரு தடவை கட்டாயமாக for breakfast, I'm sure we'll all be making this. This is Kosmalli, yeah? And I'm here to tell you not the story of Kosmalli, but the story of my life. Now, the story of Kosmalli and my life is so interlinked. Many years ago, when my akka used to go to her native place, I'm sure எல்லாருக்கும் இந்த ப்ராப்ளம் இருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். When she used to go to a native place, I used to call my mother and ask, Amma, the Kosmalli eppadi vekirathu? And she also used to give me these instructions faithfully. And then after a point in time, one day my mother asked me, Alagu, adu eppadi ovvoru tharaviyum akka oorukku pogumbodhu idhe kelviya nee kekkற Kosmalli eppadi vekkanum? Yeah? And that's when I realized, and it triggered a thought process, that why am I so linked to this Kosmalli? It's probably because it's the favorite side dish for my entire family, and I want to do it, and I want to do it well. So nama ellarume, whenever we try to do something, the first question that comes to our mind is ennala idu panna mudiyuma, panna nalla varuma. It's most of the time, it's not that we lack talent, but it's the fact that we fear the unknown. We don't know what the outcome will be. I think the only thing we all need to do is to give it a try. And when you try, believe me, the outcome will surpass your expectations. So that's the story of Kosmalli. Give it a try, and you have to conquer the fear of the unknown. Yeah. Now you must be wondering who this lady is in the middle. Yeah, if you can change, please. Yeah. Now, many of us here have abundance of talent. Yeah? And we all probably are thinking, I have the talent, but I have so much of responsibility at home. How am I going to manage all this and also take care of work or a business? Now, these are probably some of the things that keep appearing in your mind. என் பிள்ளைங்களை இன்னைக்கு நான் பார்த்துக்கிற அளவுக்கு என்னால் நல்லா பார்த்துக்க முடியுமா? வேலைக்கு போன அப்புறம் மேவேலைக்காரமா வந்துச்சா, அந்த டிவிக்கு பின்னாடி தொடக்க சொன்னனே அது தொடச்சிச்சா, பெட்ரூமை மொழுகுச்சா? These are common questions that we will have. Yeah, please change. And we will be thinking whether we will have enough time to spend with our in-laws, parents, and take care of them. And festivals. Whenever I think of festivals, I always think of Pillayar Nombu. The entire office will be working, and some of us have to leave half a day. And எங்கள் மாமனார் அடிக்கடி சொல்லுவாங்க, அழகு நம்ம பங்காளி வீட்டு கல்யாணத்துக்கு போகணும், படப்புக்கு போகணும், அப்போ தான் எல்லாரும் நம்ம வீட்டுக்கு வருவாங்கன்னு. So probably the question that is there in your mind is, will I be able to manage all of this, and can I also do something else? Probably the question is, will it be easy? Now I think there's only one straight and simple answer. It won't be easy. It will be difficult. But is there anything more difficult than giving birth to a child? How are we able to endure that pain? We are able to endure that pain because we know that it's only a passing phase. We know that the end is going to be a miracle. That's exactly what we need to apply here. Please change. Yeah. Now, the most important thing, yeah, the message that I would like to convey is really trust yourself. We already have it in our gene. There is nothing new that we need to do. We just need to nurture the gene. நம்மளுக்கு எவ்வளவோ ஆச்சிங்க தெரியும் who have traveled abroad many years ago, who have left their families during very difficult economic and social conditions, They've ensured their family is taken care of. They have ensured that they've nurtured their ancestral property. Evlavo young widow archies without any formal education have been able to start flourishing businesses, taken care of their family, and they've also been able to multiply their ancestral property. If they can do it without any formal education, without the exposure and the sophistication that we all have today, what is it that is stopping us? There will be easy breezy days. There will be days that we will feel that we are stretched and pulled in all directions. But remember, it's only a passing phase, and we really need to see through that phase and see the end goal. Identify what your talent is and focus on that. Now, I wanted to share with you something. எது ஆரம்பிக்கும் போதும், be it work, working in a corporate or starting a business, எப்பவுமே keep a role model. I have many role models here, and these archies continue to inspire me today in more than one ways. Always, role models pave a path for us to walk in and also help us to see the end goal very clearly. We don't have to look around. Pakkathu veetliyo, adutha countryliyo, we don't have to look around for inspiration. They are in our family. Our own ayas and appatas and generations before have already done all this. All that we need to do is to just believe in the gene that we have, nurture it, and follow the path. I want to leave you with two parting thoughts. One from Dr. Abdul Kalam. He's been a great inspiration for me. This is avaroda quote and my favorite quote. I wanted to leave you all with this thought. The second one, this is something that I have learned in all these years of working in a corporate firm. Now, you could have started afresh in the corporate firm. Ninga the corporate firm oda CEO va kuda irkalam. But at home, we need to remember that we are the mother, the wife, the daughter-in-law, the sister, or the sister-in-law. Any change in work, I'm sure we should not expect it to change anything at home. As long as we can value our family relations and our family values, I think anything is going to be possible. And when in doubt, always remember the Kosmalli. Thank you for the opportunity and hope you enjoy the rest of the event.
Go for that presentation. And now I would like to introduce the next panelist, Mrs. Umayal Ramanathan, also known as Uma. She hails from Devakottai. She is a student of architecture from the Madras University, and she tells me that she was perhaps the first Nagartar woman to venture into architecture as a course of study. Today, of course, architecture is the most sought after professions by most Nagartar girls. She lives in Boston, United States of America. She is respected for her contributions in the field of healthcare design in Boston area. She specializes in designing hospital buildings, especially for children. Uma has won quite a number of awards. She has been nominated this year for the prestigious Woman in Design Award 2018. And the best part of it is she just shared an information that she has already got the award. So that's very interesting. When the biodata was given, she was only nominated, but now she's the recipient of the award. Congratulations. She's a keen listener, an inspiring team leader, a brilliant architect, and a good empathizer. And her area of focus has always been on providing a better environment for young children. Please welcome Mrs. Umayal Ramanathan.
அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். Can I get you to do me one favor and turn on the lights for 1 minute of my 5 minutes, please? That's a surprise. But while they're turning on the lights, I want you to look to a person on your left and a person on your right and appreciate them. You can tell them that they're wearing a beautiful sari, that they've dressed very well. I think that's a very important thing that we need to do for each one of ourselves. We need to appreciate each and every one. Please, you have a minute to do that. Thank you. I'm hoping that you at least got to know one person who you don't. I think for us as Archies, it is very important that we appreciate each other and don't compete with each other. That's how we become stronger. எனக்கு ஆர்கனைசர்ஸ் பேசின போது நான் சொன்னாங்க இந்த மாதிரி தமிழில் ட்ரை பண்ணுங்க பேசுகிறதுக்கு அப்படின்னு. ஸோ நான் சொன்னேன் எவ்வளோ முடியுதோ அவ்வளோ பேசுகிறேன் அப்படின்னு. I'm going to give you one small example. நான் பிறந்தது வளர்ந்ததெல்லாம் சென்னை தான். பிறந்தது கர்நாடகா தான். வளர்ந்ததெல்லாம் சென்னை தான். வளர்ந்தது முக்கால்வாசி இங்கிலீஷ் பேசி தான் வளர்ந்தது சென்னையில். நான் தமிழ் பேசுகிறேன்னா யூஎஸ்க்கு போனதுக்கப்புறம் தான் தமிழே பேச ஆரம்பித்தேன் more frequently. So in fact, there's one, it's not a trivial incident, it makes a big difference. எங்கள் கல்யாணம் போது 85ல் எங்களுக்கு கல்யாணம் ஆச்சு. சின்ன மாமியார் மகன் அவங்க 9 years old அப்போ. கல்யாணத்துக்கு அவங்க ஐத்தாங்கிட்ட போய் ராமாக்கிட்ட போய் சொன்னாங்க, பரவாயில்ல இந்த வீட்டில் 50 கிழவிகளும் இங்கிலீஷில் பேசுது அப்படின்னு. So that will give you an example of how I grew up and how my Tamil has improved after going outside of the country because there was more opportunity for that. Same with religion. So நம்ம நினைக்கிறோம் இங்கே அண்ணன் சொன்னாங்க இங்கே religion we don't pay attention to. I really appreciate where I live now because I think we pay more attention to not only the language but also to religion. And எங்க pastime, husbandக்கும் எனக்கும் pastime is to volunteer in the temples there. So one of the things that as an architect and as the first architect Anand Cholam Madri was it was very difficult. But if you have a will, there's a way. If you make passion as profession, as Alagachi had said, you can accomplish so much in life. But to accomplish, family matters. Family comes first. It doesn't matter whether it's your husband or your child or extended relatives. It doesn't just stop with mamiyar, mamnar, but it extends to ayya, because now the lifestyle is so improved that people live to be much longer. And so we have to appreciate all that they bring to the table and we have to make the time. Anna ena ketanga neenga evlo often varveenga appadinu. So we started out, when we started our lives, it was once in 2 years. Konja naalku appuram it was once every year. Now I come twice a year. And I really appreciate the time that I'm able to spend here, as well as learn so much more coming here. Now going back to architecture, yes, it was challenging. And ஆச்சி ஒரு ஆச்சி இருக்காங்க, அவங்களுக்கு 19 yearsல கல்யாணம் ஆச்சு. So when it was time for me to go to college, Appa was in construction. He was a promoter. So I was exposed to architecture from about middle school. So எனக்கு டிசைன்னா என்னன்னு எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சிச்சு. But it was a man's profession. இங்கே நம்ம ஆச்சி செட்டியார்னே பார்க்காம it was a man's profession. Architecture school ஒன்று தான் இருந்துச்சு நான் 79ல் சேர்ந்த போது. இப்போ there's 150. அந்த ஒன்றுலேயே there were about 2 or 3 girls and the rest of the 20 were boys. So it was very difficult. அதுவும் செட்டியார் நம்ம நாரத்தா இருக்குமே ஃபேமிலியில் பிறந்துட்டு to go into a college where it's mostly men was also a very challenging thought for Appa and Mummy. I call Mummy and Appa as Appa. So I'll keep referring to that quite a bit. But without their support, I would not be where I am, literally and professionally. Appa was my role model, he was my guide, so I'd like to dedicate the award that I just got to Appa. So he was very supportive and he helped me get through. He promised me, seri kalyanam pesumodhu nee ready-a irukkanum. That's a challenge that every one of us, even the future generation, has now more so than before. So 4th year varaikkum vittanga, onnum sollala. 5th year vanduchna, that was when it started. And so it so happened, and I was so lucky that I got such a supporting family that I entered. My father-in-law was the most supportive person, encouraged us to go on for further studies, and I cannot leave my husband out of this. He is actually here, and without him it would have been impossible. So the family is truly the best support that you can have to progress in a profession. The professional environment is something that you create for yourself, But without the support of the family and without the support of the culture and the heritage that we bring as a family, it's impossible. So we need to take the time to make sure that we have the family that we want and we need, and we will nurture and give back to. All those 4 steps in life are very important. So one of the things that has helped me is, we are very good at listening. At least we used to be very good at listening. I would encourage all of you to take the time to listen. Because when you really listen, you hear so much more and you're able to make the right decision in life. If we make the decision, then we might not be making the right decision. So being a good listener is very important. And for me, in practicing healthcare architecture, actually has helped me tremendously, because I'm able to understand the needs of people and design for them. So there's a lot of proof that we design the proper environment. Actually, the length of stay, opening a hospital, if suppose you have to be admitted in a hospital, if the environment is right, it actually shortens the stay in the hospital. Anjanalik badala 3 naalile you will be able to leave if the environment is conducive to it. So that you can only achieve if you listen. So please take the time to listen to whoever's next to you, appreciate them for what they are, and learn from that experience. So one thing I know, the healthcare advisor here, Krishna ji, he did say that take the time for health. If I were to have done one thing differently, that's what I would have done. I would have taken the time for health, I would have taken the time to exercise, I would have time to do yoga. But my daughter, Avalo Vandrika, she has taken the time to do that because she has learned from, the time that I did not spend doing all of that, she does. She does make it a point to go for yoga, enjoy dance, pick up a hobby. That's very important. We need to give ourselves time to enjoy ourselves. Family is very important, but we need rejuvenation also to be able to help the family progress further. So with that, I will close my speech, and of course there are other questions. So.
Thank you, Mrs. Umayal Ramanathan. And the third on our panel is Ms. Kannamai. Now, she hails from Natarajapuram and is employed as a fundamental research associate with the D.E. Shaw Group based in Hyderabad. She's just 20 years old. She has been on a Rotary exchange program to Germany. She was a school topper and she graduated in commerce from the Sri Ram College of Commerce, New Delhi. Having a keen business acumen, she was at the helm of a marketing society, D Street at Sri Ram College. Her most notable achievement was of being felicitated by Deloitte amongst 500 national teams and winning a cash prize of rupees 1.5 lakhs and an invaluable internship opportunity. Kannamai is a budding career woman, just at the beginning of a fascinating career. She met me in a wedding house 3 days back and said, "I'm a bit nervous." I told her, "There are 375 Archies backing you up. Kannamai, please come."
Thank you so much, Ayya, for those kind words. It's indeed an honor to be part of such an inspiring panel and to be able to address such a gathering. I'd definitely like to start off with the words saying that I'm of no age or do not possess the wisdom to be guiding someone here. I'm simply here to share a few experiences. Life is full of choices and one has to choose very carefully. Right now, we have too many choices, be it materialistic ones or life choices. And people around us have very, very mixed opinion, and this causes a lot of confusion. As children, we are used to being spoon-fed by our parents as to what to do and how to do. And when we grow up, we tend to get used to this. It does make life a lot easier, yes, but what we need to understand as parents or as children is that every decision we make post 11th, 12th grade makes a huge impact on where we are 20, 30 years down the lane. We might not be exactly sure of where we want to be, but it's definitely a building block. And hence, every decision should be made on a collaborative basis, the parent and the children together. Parents have the wisdom and experience to guide you, but then they will be able to do so only when you know what exactly you want to do in the first place. I'd like to derive a few experiences from my life here. Given a choice, one should definitely choose the best option that is available. And in my case, it was in Delhi. Delhi was 2,500 kilometers away, and it was not going to be easy to convince my parents to let me go study so far. But then, when there's something new, there's always a lot of fear and apprehension that comes along with it. And that's when you need to talk to people who've been through similar situation. Talk to a mixed group of people. They'll share a different opinion. They'll give you a different aspect for a similar situation. But make sure you talk to people who have a very unbiased opinion to the same. Listen to them, but choose what suits you the best. What's most important here is that you should know what exactly you want and why you want it. And when you decided, you've made a choice, the universe, Lord, or nature will help you and guide you achieve the same. And in fact, your parents will also be more confident in supporting you or encouraging you to pursue your passion in the first place. So there are two situations that we commonly come across. The first one, the parent is afraid to support their children because of their own fears. Second one, the children are afraid to leave their own comfort zone. Parents need to understand that children are capable of exploring on their own, but then they will be able to do so only with the parents' support. Every child has dreams, but then with age and societal circumstances, a lot of them get buried. But I'm sure every parent present here has made sure that their children grow up with certain values. And when these values are well imbibed in them, no matter where you study or what you study, they will continue to be the same. So encourage them to do or pursue what they want to do, because only when a child pursues his or her passion, they will be able to outshine in their field. We simply don't have an MS Dhoni or A.R. Rahman. They were all pursuing their own passion. Coming to children who are afraid to leave their comfort zone, we have to understand that life isn't a cakewalk. There'll be a lot of ups and downs. It's going to be difficult to move out of your home. It's going to be difficult to get used to the food. You might not perform as well as you expected yourself to. But then that's how life is. You learn, that's how you learn, that's how you grow. I'd like to refer to a second incident here. After making it to the college of my dreams, I'd gotten a reality check that this was just the beginning. One was all of a sudden surrounded by the country's best people. You had to constantly work hard and push yourself, be it academics, extracurricular, or your career choices. And you also get a lot of clarity because every time you make a decision, you learn something out of it. But things might not exactly go the way you expected it to. It didn't go for me. But that's not when you give up, because you work hard in the same direction and make sure you achieve the set goal. I was given an opportunity to work for a firm, but then it wasn't exactly what I wanted to. And these are exact situations where people settle because they are afraid to let go. Don't. You don't have to. Work hard, keep working hard, and with God's grace, I was lucky enough, and I'm sure you will be too, to be able to do what you want to later on in life. And yeah, so we are all lucky enough to be in a world where we have n number of opportunities. Name any field, pick anything. You have XYZ options to choose from. Make use of them. It might not exactly go the way you planned it to, but at least you won't have any regrets. You won't regret that you didn't try. And with this, I'd like to conclude with the Tamil Thirukural that goes, Enniya enniyangu, enniya enniyangu yeitubar, Enniyar tinniyaragar perin, meaning, if you're keen about what you want, people will achieve what they wish for if they have the willpower to do so. Thank you.
Panel discussion. I will raise questions and look forward to answers from each of these panelists. My first question to Alagu. Working women are considered more independent and therefore more difficult to deal with in a family. What's your reaction?
Yeah, it could be, Anand. There are few and far apart like that. I don't think we can make it very generic. It's also very person specific, I think. But what I'd like to say is like what I mentioned before. As long as we are clear that whether we are the CEO or at office, we are not the CEO at home. We are the wife, the daughter, or the daughter-in-law. As long as we are clear in our mind with that, I think these type of questions won't even arise.
Okay, thanks very much. Uma, yes. What, in your opinion, is the difference between a career woman in the US and a one in India?
That's a very good question, Anand. So, but before that, I only shortened my name to Uma because it's easier for the Americans to pronounce it. But everybody else, the non-Americans, still call me Umayal, and that's the name that I actually prefer to use. So what's the difference between a career woman in the U.S. and India? There's two sides to it. I think in the U.S. we tend to be a little bit more unprotected. I think women working in India are a little bit more protected, and there are multiple reasons for that. I think India, all of us are the same. In the US, we tend to be the colored people, and we are women. So that's a double whammy. So it makes it that much more difficult to prove yourself, because you have to prove yourself as a person first, and then you have to prove yourself as a professional. So that's a big difference. And on the lighter note, I think Archies here who have a profession have all the help in the world, if you can get it. But there's a lot of work that we have to do ourselves, including driving to work, including, I know a lot of people do it now, but when I went to the US in '79, it wasn't the case in India. There were a lot of people who had a lot more help and support. So I think Archies here in India specifically should truly appreciate all the support that you have, because it's very different in the US. So I think those are kind of the big differences. One challenge that I've had here, I've worked here in India also, is as a professional in architecture. Somebody the other day asked me, "Ninga kattnadha ninga drop pannadallam kattiruvangala unga oorla?" So yes, that is the easy side of my profession. What we document and draw is built as we have drawn and documented. India, that's not the case. The three differences.
Fine. I think ரொம்ப கிளியராக சொல்லிட்டாங்க. இந்தியாவோட அமெரிக்காவில் வேலை செய்கிறது கஷ்டம், ஆனால் அங்கே பண்ணுற வேலைக்கு மரியாதை கூட அப்படிங்க. அதான் எனக்கு சொல்கிறீங்க. That's correct.
Yes, correct.
Merit is recognized in US, not as much as you think it is in India. That's right.
I think it's improving. It's definitely improving, but it wasn't the case when I left India.
I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hope you also emulate US in this.
Yes.
Okay, now let's get on to Kannamai. Kannamai, being at the beginning of your career as a spinster, what are your apprehensions of your life after marriage?
Yeah, that's a very important question, and I'm sure it has popped up in everyone's life. And that's why I think I should be answering this question keeping our entire generation in mind. As a child, I believe that everyone should have equal access to opportunities to grow. I understand that a girl has a lot more responsibility and commitment that gets attached to his or her life after marriage. There's a lot of ifs, buts, giveaways, and takeaways. But that's a choice that someone has to make later on in life, and I think we'll cross the bridge when one has to.
I'm only praying that Kannamai gets a husband and a father-in-law like Umayal Ramanathan.
She will.
Yeah, I would
And she will.
Bless her. Okay, good. Let's move on once again to Alagu for another question. You have successfully managed to balance yourself between your family and your career. What is the secret formula?
Thank you for that compliment. I think I would attribute it to two different things. First, my parents and my apata for instilling this value system in me. My parents have literally sacrificed their life to educate me well, and they've led by example. And I grew up with my apata. We lived in a joint family, and I still remember what my apata said. ஒருத்தங்க ஒரு பிஸ்னஸ் ஆரம்பிக்கும்போது அதோட இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் மூலதனம் வந்து இட்ஸ் த மனி தட் தே புட் இன். உன்னைய மாதிரி பிள்ளைங்க படித்து வேலைக்கு போகும்போது யோர் மூலதனம் இஸ் அஃப்கோர்ஸ் யோர் எஜுகேஷன் அண்ட் யோர் ஆட்டிடியூட் அண்ட் த கமிட்மெண்ட் டு ஒர்க். எந்த வேலை, எந்த கஷ்டமான வேலை வந்தாலும் அஞ்சாத, எடுத்து பண்ணு. ஃபஸ்ட்டு கஷ்டமாக இருக்கும், அப்புறம் அதுவே பழகி போயிடும். This is what my Appatha told and brought me up. So it's this value system. And the second one is the unimaginable support that I've received from my parents-in-law and my husband. Even yesterday, as I was leaving to Coimbatore, I called my mother-in-law and then I said, Aitha, I'm leaving to Coimbatore. And she said, நம்மோட சாமி எல்லாம் நல்லா கும்பிட்டுக்க, நல்லா நிறுத்தி நிதானமாக தைரியமாக பேசு, நானும் வேண்டிக்கிறேன். And I'm sure I've not spoken to her today yet. I am sure அவங்க ஏதாவது ஒரு சாமிக்கு வேண்டிக்கிட்டு ஏதாவது சொல்லிக்கிட்டு இருப்பாங்க. And my father-in-law even today keeps telling me, இவ்வளோ படித்தது வேஸ்ட் ஆகக்கூடாது, நீ உன்னோட கடைசி சர்வீஸ், உன்னோட ரிட்டைர்மெண்ட் உன் கம்பெனியில் 60 வயசுனா 60 வயசு வரைக்கும் இன்றைக்கும் கட்டாயமாக வேலை பார்க்கணும். And of course my husband, I've already mentioned it, without him this 22 years of career is something that I couldn't have dreamt of at all. He's stuck by me to thick and thin. So I think it's the support from my parents-in-law and husband and the value system from my parents and my Appatha.
Okay, thanks very much. We're only hoping that everyone has the same thing. Going to work and you have supportive husbands, supportive in-laws, and that makes life much more easier. All right, Mrs. Umayal, I think I've corrected myself.
Thank you.
Does financial independence make a woman more arrogant and independent?
That's actually a very sensitive question to answer, but I'm going to try. I asked a couple of people around. Ananiyum Getena, Junior Ananiyum Getena. I said, what would you think? And he says, definitely. And I said, and I agreed with him. But there's a difference. I think it's how, sorry, yeah. As I said, there's a difference. Women tend, if you are earning, you do tend to be financially independent. And to a certain extent, there is some arrogance that comes with financial independence. But a lot of it has to do with, the family, how you blend in with the family, because you don't become financially independent when you're out of college. It's allowed you the time to really get to know the family and to understand the family's culture before you become really financially independent. And by then, you really lose any kind of arrogance that you might have had if you had become a really independent person when you get married. And so I think it's definitely there. It's how you manage it and manage the circumstances, because women have to be confident. Confident a lot of times is seen as arrogance, which is not the case. I think it's just because it's not understood well that it's seen as arrogance. But at the same time, I do know a lot of Archies who do make more than their husbands do in the US. I'm not familiar with the professional situation here in India. Because when I come, I spend time only with family and not, and this is the first time I'm actually on stage doing something here. But you do have that more so, I feel, in the US.
Okay. So Archie is quite okay. She says financial independence could probably lead to arrogance, but it's not the case necessarily, because when we raise questions, it is not that it is applicable to everyone. It's just that we are asking general questions. But I'm sure that women will understand that financial independence must not lead to any kind of arrogance. All right. Okay, Kannamai, are you ready? Yes. Career women are more susceptible to love marriages because of greater exposure at their workplace. What is your reaction to this statement?
You don't necessarily have to be educated to fall in love with someone and say, I want to get married to him. So,
You want to get married to a Chettiar?
Yeah, definitely.
You believe in arranged marriages?
Yeah, I do. I've been grown up listening to those values being recited to me over and over and over again that I don't even think about it anymore.
You sure you won't fall in love with anybody?
No.
All right then.
Yeah, so I think that's a very wrong opinion people have in general, especially in our community, that necessarily doesn't have to be the case. When you've been taught about, when you've been taught certain values, when you've imbibed those values, and when you're focused on what you want to do, what you're here for. In this case, you're here to learn and you're here to grow. Nothing else distracts you. So you work hard, grow as a professional, and move on. So, yeah.
Okay, now we have gone through some questions to the panelists. I just would like to give you 2-3 minutes. I don't know if we have the time. We have just 5 more minutes. Any questions from the floor? Any questions? Very briefly, we could give you the time. Otherwise, we will go for the conclusion. Yes? This is that great moment, silence in a hall with 400 women. Yes? Please be quick. Very short. Questions have to be short, answers have to be even shorter.
Hello, good morning to everyone. I would like to have a small question with ma'am. Before architect was a different and everyone had the general architect. By every Chettiar and Archis were doing their architect on their own. After the education of architect college, what was the main difference between those days and now?
That's a very tough question to answer, but it's a very good one. I think today's architectural profession is more for the current situation. I think it's being influenced a lot by the Western world, and so I actually preferred the architecture that Archis and Chettiar practiced because it was more contextual, and it was designed for the environment. It was designed for the climate. But today, it's just a matter of aping the West. I'm talking about the Indian reference. Yeah. And so that doesn't help with the environment. And when, நம்ம ஊருக்குலாம் போனோம்னா the வாசல் வச்சு கட்டின வீடெல்லாம், it is so much, you don't need air conditioning in those rooms, in those houses. ஆனால் இப்போ கட்டுற வீடெல்லாம் இந்த வெயிலில் வந்து you really need to have artificial means and methods. So that's one big difference in the way the architecture is being taught today.
Yeah, those days everything was a nature life. Now everything has become an artificial life.
Correct. Yes.
So what is we can balance in the new constructions and keep our health, wealth?
Okay, and we can find to one
Thank
question, madam. Yes. One more question. Just time for one more question.
Yeah, you were all talking about ideal situations where, the people on the, panel had ideal husbands and in-laws and all that. What if, women have aspirations and they really don't have a very conducive situation? And what do they have to do about it?
When the going gets tough, it's the tough who get going. That's my one sentence answer to your question. When you have a non-cooperative husband or
generally,
a
when
non-cooperative
the
family,
situation-
if I can say so, then you will have to get tougher. That's yes, sir.
I agree with that, but at the same time, I think education goes a long way. I think we at that time need to have the patience to help them understand why it's important. நம்ம ஏன் வேலைக்கு போகிறோம், எதுக்கு போகிறோம், நம்மளுக்கு சம்பாதிக்கணும்னு இல்லை. It's just a passion. It's to make a change in the world. It's to make a difference in the world. So அதனால் நம்ம பொறுமையாக உட்காந்து we have to help them understand why it is important for us and what we are trying to achieve, how it's going to help them. I think it is very important. That is what the family situation needs to be.
Okay.
Okay, anyway. I quite understand your question.
Sorry?
I quite understand your question, but then, as I told you, we can't, very, very specific because all the three sitting on the stage seem to have very cooperative families.
Yeah, the ideal situations.
Yeah, possible. Yeah. Maybe when we have the time, we will listen to you during the course of the day. Yeah, why not? Why not? Please. We may not have the time right now, so I'm asked to confine to 45 minutes. I just have 3 more minutes to conclude the session. So you might have some time to speak in the next session. Let me conclude to share a secret with me. She smiled and said to me, I started succeeding when I started leaving small fights for small fighters. I stopped fighting with those who gossiped about me. I stopped fighting with my in-laws. I stopped fighting for attention. I stopped fighting to meet public expectations of me. I stopped fighting for my rights with stupid people. I left such fights to those who have nothing else to fight for. And I started fighting for my vision, my dreams, my ideas, and my destiny. The day I gave up on small fights is the day I started becoming successful. Ladies and gentlemen, some fights are not worth your time. My humble request to you is, please stop fighting. Be it with your husband, with your children, with your in-laws, or with your servants at home. Please never fight. How big your house is, no matter how huge your bank balance is, no matter how recent your car is, no matter how powerful your position in life is, at the end, the size of our graves will all be the same. So please remember that the most important lesson for all of us to learn if you want to become successful, be it in your family, be it in your career, be it in any walk of life, shed your egos. Ego is killing mankind. If all of us can shed our egos, I'm sure there'll be peace on earth and there'll be progress and prosperity. With this, let me thank all the panelists, Alagammai, Umayal and Kannamai, for sharing their time, their thoughts with us, and to all of you for patiently listening to us, and most importantly, to NEU for having organized this, for inviting us, for honoring us. Thank you very much. God bless. Bye-bye.